Morning, everybody. Hello. We're going really early today, folks. So, give me a second. We want to get try and get Instagram to go. So, give me a second to get that stream key going. Okay, let's try it. Alright. I think, guess that's not going to work. Okay. Well. Oh, here we go. Awesome. We're going to go. So I have to be patient. There we go. Alright, we minimize that. Alright. Oh my god, folks, it's so freaking early. So, alright, but I'd rather be asleep right now, but this is a build I just want to get done. I just have such a big backlog of Alps builds. So, if you're going to join us, welcome everybody. It's bright and early. So, folks, we're going to be doing this. So, yeah, it's way too early, everybody. So, that's what we're going to do. So, everybody, what we're going to be doing is we're doing Alps build today, folks. So, yeah, it's bright and early, everybody. Hello, friends. It's way too early, but yeah, we got to get this done. So, what we're going to be doing, everybody, is we're going to be doing another Northgate OmniKey restoration. So, this is the third Northgate OmniKey that we're going to be doing. As you can see from this particular board, this thing's absolutely massive. This thing's pretty crazy. So, that's what we're going to be doing today, folks, is we're just going to get working on this particular board. So this is a really cool board. PCB is absolutely massive. Yes, Frog fan, I know. So, but yeah, I gotta get this build done. I got a lot of stuff going on this weekend, so this is the time I had to do it. So that's what we're going to do today, folks. So it's going to look pretty cool. So we're going to put the case to the side. This thing's absolutely massive. We're going to do some work on this and also to the back panel. And yeah, but this PCB is really cool. And it supports a ton of different layouts, which is going to be really cool. So another kind of big, chunky, gigantic board that we're going to be working with. So really, really cool. So we're going to put the PCB off to the side because we're going to, I want to get some switches installed on this particular board. So that's what we're going to do. So let me pull out some stuff that we're going to do. So we got keycaps. Keycaps have been fully restored on this one. So, and then also I need my cable for this board. So we got a nice cable for this particular board, which looks really good. So we'll definitely be using that as we get things tested. And then where are my stab parts? Because that's another important, there we go, stabilizer parts. So we're going to put some of the stabilizer clips in, and then we're going to get some other stuff going. But yeah, it's bright and early, everybody. So I know I have some friends in Europe and probably Australia that'll probably jump on. So they're probably wide awake because they're like in the future. So there you go. Cool. All right. I want to put some of my clips in this particular board, and then we'll kind of get it going. So it should be a fun time, everybody. It's bright and early. So yeah. So I technically should be asleep, but I got a lot of stuff I'm doing today, so might as well just get this done. So all right, folks. So we're just gonna put these clips in for these and some other kind of additional parts on here, and then we're gonna get going. So this board came out really nice. This was a the plate on this particular board was ridiculously rusted when I got it. Like there was really, really bad rust on this. So this plate took a lot more work than the other plates to get it kind of sanded down so I could refinish it. But this plate came out absolutely gorgeous, and you would never know that it was completely messed up. That's just kind of the one interesting quirk about Northgate OmniKeys. If you find one in the wild, and you get one off like Marketplace or Craigslist or what have you, or to eBay, like the plates are probably going to be really rusted because when these big keyboards were originally manufactured, the factory did not put any type of protective coating on these. They didn't paint them, they didn't Cerakote them or anything like that, or anodize them. So these plates were just bare metal, so it's just bare steel. So that just bare steel just rusts over time because it's not stainless. So that was kind of the thing with these particular plates. So yeah, we're just putting these little clips in. These are going to hold our stabilizer wires. We're going to do stabs at the end. So I really liked how it went last night when we did all that stuff a little later on. So that's going to be good. So we're just putting our 6 stabilizer wire clips in. And then, yeah, we'll get this board going. So it's going to be really good. So, yeah, but it's going to be a good time, everybody. So, all right, there we go. Awesome. And then yeah, jumping on, friends. So it's bright and early today. So, I mean, I'm used to waking up early, honestly, even on the weekends. Like, for my job, I wake up at 5:30 most days, and since I've been waking up early for work, it's just, even when I'm on the weekends, it's kind of hard to sleep in, so I just would rather be productive. And this is my last, like, really, really big keyboard in my restoration queue. I just wanted to get done. We have, like, three more restoration builds we got to do this week. So, I wanted to get these OmniKeys together. So we did the OmniKey 102 with Blue Alps last night, and that board came out amazing. And this is going to be the last OmniKey. I have another OmniKey on the way, which is really cool. So, but we're probably not going to restore that for a few weeks because it'll have to be torn down and switches will have to get done on it and whatnot. So, yeah. So, yeah, we got a couple boards coming. So we got some fun keyboard projects coming up. So. Just want to get this one done because these OmniKeys are so amazing. So, alright, that one. And then this clip, and then we'll put our other pieces in here. Where is it not wanting to go in? Bruh. It's not wanting to go in. There we go. Alright, cool. Got those in. Let's put the spacebar post and then our big ass enter post in here. Cool, got that one, and then we'll get our spacebar post going. So, yeah, it's a good fun time, everybody. Fun times. It's too early, everybody, but it's okay. So, just getting these cleaned up, and then we'll get it going. Cool. Alright, let's put the rest of the stab parts away. I'm not really going to be doing stabs until the very end. Kind of liked how the build went yesterday, so we're just going to do that. So, and we'll start doing switches. So we're just going to kind of jump into them. Cool. All right. Put our stabs away for right now. Let's get our switches, and I'll show you all the switches we're going to work with today. So, I'm going with Alps Pine White clickies. So we're making this a clicky build. This originally had bamboo white Alps, which are the later version of this and kind of the inferior version. So I'm going to put proper clickies in this particular board. So that's going to be really nice. So we're just going to do we're going to do the 4 corners on this board first. And then we'll solder those in, and then we'll put in the rest of the switches. So that's what we're going to do. Let me just make sure everything that lines up for the PCB. Yeah, okay. Cool. Cool. All right, let me flip this over carefully, and we'll get this one going. Cool. That looks amazing. Cool. Let's just flip her over, and let's get those soldered in. Alright, let's get our solder wire out. Let's fire up the soldering iron. And we'll get this going. So, let me just dial in the soldering iron temperature. There we go. Let's get some solder wick. It's nice and early, everybody. Yeah, but this PCB came out great. So yeah, there's a ton of different layouts for, especially when you get to like the navigation / 8K cluster. So it's pretty good. This is a really good board. So I'm in love with these Northgate OmniKeys. Like, they're just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing boards. Cool. All right. Let me just turn on my vent. Yep, where'd it go? Alright. Good morning, friends. Cool. Let's go to this side. Cool. Got this side held in, which is pretty good. Cool. Awesome. Let's kind of flip it around. We got those held in, which is pretty good. So let's flip it around. All right. So we got these 4 switches kind of holding everything in, which is really nice. So we're just going to dump these switches out, and we're going to start putting switches in. So yeah, so this is going to be a really fun board. So I'll start off with the F column over here. We'll kind of work our way around. Yeah, this is going to be so good. There we go. Got that one. Let's do... Yeah, some of these are... This plate is really, really tight. So, I mean, I don't plan on ever taking this board apart again, so... Alright, yeah, we're just getting these switches installed. Well, it's a good time, everybody. So, this is going to be a really cool board. This board was... When was this board made? I can tell y'all exactly when it was made. So, the date... Well, according to the date markings on this one, it was made in... What do the date markings say? So, it says... So, August 25th, 1994. So, it was definitely a throwback to the 90s. So, yeah. Good times. So, now let's go over here to our number pad. We'll do that section first. We kind of work our way outside start on the outside, work our way in. So there we go. So it's looking pretty good, friends. All right. Yeah, these Pine Whites are looking so good. Cool, so we got our number pad in. I'm gonna do our F row now. Yeah, we're just doing our F row. So our F row is cool. It's cool because we have a double F row. So we have the F row right here and we have the F row at the top. So I love these OmniKeys. Their layout is just so good. All right. Good times. Got that one in. Perfect. We'll put in our bottom row right here in our alpha cluster. Look at that, it's filling in. So it's filling in really nice. Let's do our modifiers over here. Cool. This came out really nice. Ooh, look at that. All right, let's do our navigation cluster. And then we're going to do our arrow cluster. Yep. Come on. Where does that one want to go in? Come on. Come on. There we go. Put that one in. We'll do our arrows. Cool. So we got that one in, because this one doesn't have an 8K cluster, because it's going to look like that, which is going to be cool. So, and then we'll do our alpha cluster, and then we'll have our, pretty much our switches ready to go. So this is looking really good. This looks amazing. Cannot wait. Looking good. Awesome. 2 more rows of switches. We are getting there, folks. There's a metric truckload of switches in these puppies. Oh, we had the perfect amount of switches for this one picked out. That's awesome. Look at that. I did something right. All right. There we go, friends. Let's push that to the side. Look at that, everybody. So that's looking pretty good. So we have a, oh my God, this thing is heavy. But yeah, that's our plate assembly, plate, PCB, and switch assembly. So that looks amazing. So let's flip this thing over and let's start soldering switches in. So let's make sure we have no bent pins for the most part. Looks like we're okay. I'm going to do this F row up here and some of these middle ones. So, all right, let's get the vent going and let's start soldering. There we go, friends. So, good times, everybody. All right. I'm going to do some soldering in the middle over here because this F row needs to be pushed down. Okay. That's a lot of gap here. Let's do one here. Yeah, we're just doing certain pins up here just to kind of hold stuff down. Just making sure switches up here are properly seated. Cool. Yep, we have a bent pin. Let's fix that. Alright, I got a bent pin I gotta fix. Damn. Let's fix that. Alright, let's fix that. Oh, that's pretty foobar. Cool. Sweet. Flip it around. Let's try that again. All right. Cool. Yeah, we're just kind of doing certain pins around the perimeter just to kind of hold everything down. Alright. Let's go over here, do these. Here. Almost there, folks. Just kind of going around doing the perimeter, just holding stuff down, making sure everything's properly seated. So. I think we are held down pretty good. Alright, let's start working our way around. No, this is not a rebuild. This I'll show you. This is a different build. So, this is a let me turn off. So, this is one of 3 Northgate OmniKeys. So, I'll just kind of put the case on so you can kind of differentiate it. So, this is called the Northgate OmniKey Ultra-T. The one I built a couple streams ago is this one. This is a Northgate OmniKey Ultra. So the main difference between these two boards is, again, this one has a full FRO. The escape is here. And it has an 8K cluster. So this one is a little bit different because it has a regular T arrow cluster right here and no 8K right here. And also escape is up here. So there is a little bit of a difference. They're two different models, which is pretty cool. So, let me just put that one back. And then last night, we built this puppy right here. This other OmniKey, which is with blue Alps, which is just amazing. I love this board. So, built that one last night. So, yeah. So, we have like 3 OmniKeys, which are just like really, really cool. So, I'll kind of adjust my camera so you can kind of see the other OmniKey. Then we'll get the blue Alps put back. Yeah, so we got those 2 OmniKeys right there. So this is going to be the 3rd OmniKey. So let me just take this case off. So I have a lot of stuff going on this weekend. I want to get this 3rd and final OmniKey built restoration done. So that's what we're doing. So but yeah, this is a real Northgate OmniKeys are awesome. I definitely want to collect all the Northgate OmniKey models because these boards are just amazing. There's nothing else really like them. So yeah, so really good time. So yeah, it's bright here and early in Los Angeles. It's like 7:15 a.m. on a Saturday here in Los Angeles. So it's bright and early, everybody. Yeah, so we're getting all these solder points going. Yeah, so we're just getting this one going. Yeah, Lucky. I mean, yeah, you're in the future. I'm like, bro. So, yeah, I just wanted to do this one early, so I figured folks in other parts of the world would probably be able to tune in because it's not like the butt crack of dawn. So yeah, we're just burning through this one because I got some stuff I'm doing today, and I'm really busy tomorrow, so I just wanted to get this one done. Because I have 3 more restorations we got to do. That the builds are ready to be thrown together. I'm just going to do those on stream later this week. But I wanted to get the OmniKeys together because those are my favorite. And I love these things. Like, these things are just truly amazing. Like, if you're looking for a vintage board, look into Northgate OmniKeys. Like, these things are just absolutely amazing. So, yeah, we're just doing the number pad right now. Yeah, so we have 3 of these massive, massive boards. Alright. A little more right there. Awesome. So we got that one done. It's really nice. I'm going to do our arrows right now, and then we'll do our navigation cluster. So it's coming good. Perfect, those came out good. Awesome. Yeah, this. So, yeah, I've done, I'm into Topre. So I have some Topre builds coming up. So we're going to be doing a Topre build of my MM Studio Class 0413. So the plates are going to get made this week finally, which is going to be really nice. I also have a Topre Class 80. And then I have a Han. Where the heck is it? I'll show you. I'll show you my other Topre. So I have a couple HHKB builds, custom. So this is my Han H2H. I'm waiting on Dynacap, and I also this is modeled after the HHKB Pro 3, and then HHKB Pro Classic, and then I also have an HHKB Pro 2 that Han made, which is called the Han Pro 2K, which should be coming Q1 of next year. So these boards aren't being built because I'm waiting for Dynacap, because I do want to put GMK on both of these boards. So yeah, I love Topre. I mean, the other side of the hobby I want to get into is like buckling springs, like Model F keyboards, Model M's, which would be really cool. I also want to get into Space Invaders. So there's a bunch of other stuff I want to do during the pipeline. It's just there's only, yeah, Han is good stuff, dude. I love Han stuff. Han makes some cool stuff. So, yeah. So I have the H2H. I ordered the Pro 2K. I had OEM Topre HHKBs, but I sold those to fund my Pro 2K because I love plastic cases, but part of me just loves metal. I know Topre and plastic cases sound better, but I'm just a creature of habit. I love metal, so I know that's the most ideal for Topre, but like, hey, like I love my custom builds. So yeah, Topre is awesome. I definitely eventually want to get like a Model F and a Model M. And then also Space Invaders, because the Sensi 80, which is going to come out next year, is going to support Alps, Cherry MX, Space Invaders, and a bunch of other Switch types, which is going to be super, super sick. So I definitely want to do a Space Invaders build. Yeah, we're just getting this navigation cluster soldered, and then we'll move over to one of our F columns, and we'll do the F row. Yeah, so this is really weird. So on this particular board, it's marked. The PCB is date marked 1989 to 1990, but then if you look at the case, the case was manufactured in 1994. So I don't really know when this whole board was thrown together. So I'll probably ask some of the folks online on Discord to see like, hey, who are more knowledgeable, and kind of figure out exactly when this board would have been made. Yeah, one thing that's really cool about this PCB versus some of my other retro boards, this supports N-key rollover, which is really cool. So that's like a really cool feature that's on this board. That's like, we kind of take that feature for granted on like modern keyboards, but definitely on this keyboard, I think that's a really cool feature that it includes. Okay, got that one. Good. Coming along. We're almost done with our navigation cluster. Awesome. Yeah, that Sensi. So I was talking with the Sensi guys they're doing 2 TKLs next year. The next one for sure that's happening is the Sensi 80, which is basically a TKL of the Seal full size. And then they're doing another board called the Satisfaction TKL, which it's kind of the intention of the separation TKL is they want to build it so you can use Apple extended keyboard keycaps. So like I've done like, oh man, God. So I love vintage Macintosh. Like this is my AEK. Problem with these boards is the profile. These have a very, very strange profile, particularly with the F row. So what they're going to be doing is they're going to make a TKL that properly supports these keycaps. So they'll have proper bottom row support, and they'll also have the case designed to properly support the F row. These F row keycaps have very, very tall stems, and they're rotated 90 degrees from the rest of the switches on the PCB. So historically, if you're going to use like Macintosh keycaps, which I have done, you just really just omit the F row. So you do like a 60%, or you do like an F rowless TKL, which is what I'm doing with the ETAR 87. But that's going to be really cool to have a TKL that properly supports the F row in like a modern keyboard. So that's going to be a really cool project. So the separation TKL for the AEK keycaps is more in the early stages of development. They're still kind of figuring it out. The Sensi is pretty close to, it's pretty almost ready for production and the group buy. So that's going to be a really cool project. So I'm really excited for that one. So I want to do both of those projects next year. Those will probably be my 2 big group buys I do in 2026. But I'm slowing down in group buys. So, yeah, let me do my top F row. Alright, let's get this top F row done. Nice. Alright, coming along. Let's do these ones down here. So yeah, we're going along. Nice. Let's get our space bar done. Kind of working our way around the board. Almost there. Look. Yeah, so it should be a good time, folks. So. Good times. Let's just get these ones done. Alright, cool. Right, let's get this top F row and then we'll do our main cluster. Coming along, folks. Let me just get some more solder line. Alright. Cool. With that, let's do this F column right here. Almost there, folks. Yeah, pushing through, folks. Awesome. Cool. Alright, got that portion done. Now we just gotta do our center cluster and then we'll be pretty good. Oops, missed a couple here. We got these OmniKeys. They're big boards and they have like 120 switches each, so they take some time. So yeah, we're making good time too on this. We're on there for about almost an hour, so that's pretty good. Alright, so buzzing. Cool. Let's go over here. Let's do these. Yeah, it's crazy that this keyboard is like 31 years old. It's older than me. It has me beat by a couple of years, which I think is pretty funny. But, I mean, me and this keyboard are both from the 90s, so that's kind of cool. Alright, now we're just going to do our main number and alpha cluster, and then we should be good to start testing switches. And then we'll just either fix or desolder switches that have faulty switch plates. So cool. That's coming along, folks. Looking good. Let's get a little bit more on that. All right. Good times. All right. That wasn't good enough. There we go. Looking good so far. Looking good. All right. Yeah, we're getting there. We're on our last 3 rows in the alpha cluster, so we're on our alphas. Good times. Looking good so far, everybody. Good. Awesome. 2 more rows, and then we'll be ready to go. All right, looking good, friends. Get more solder lead. Alright. Home stretch of switches. Hopefully we don't have to desolder any switches. Looking good. Alright, we're going to our last row, everybody. And then we'll start testing switches. It's like 5 or 6 switches, and let's get this one going. So we're making good time on this one today. Making really good time. Alright, 3 more switches. And last one. Alright, cool. Alright, we should be done with the soldering iron. I'm going to turn it off. Put that to the sides. Put the plant vent over here. There we go, friends. Alright, let's roll up the solder wick and just kind of see what we got to do. Alright, so got all of our switches done. Let's flip this puppy over. There we go. Look at that switch and plate assembly. That is pretty awesome. I do say so myself. I love, again, this plate came out pretty amazing. We cleaned the PCB. All these switches have been cleaned, ultrasonic cleaned and restored. So, and this is a switch swap. Again, we're putting in the better version of Pine White of White Alps. So there's Pine variants, which are earlier and better, and then there's Bamboo variants of certain switches. So these are the Pine variant. These originally came with Bamboo Whites. Bamboo Whites are okay, but the Pine Whites just sound so much better and a lot closer to Cherry MX. To Alps Blues. So yeah, it looks really good. So yeah, and this plate we spray painted black. We sanded it down, refinished it, got all that rust off. So now this plate, especially over here on the number pad, was really, really bad. Like, that's some of the worst rust I've ever seen on a keyboard plate. So let's get our wire out so we can actually interface with our PS2 port, and then we'll go from there. So let's get our cable to interface. That's our cable. Put this off to the side. So let's get this plugged in. These pins go up. Perfect. All right, let's get our big cable. Let's get our DIN plug right here plugged in. Actually, wait, let's get our PS2 port plugged in first. Okay, got that. Let's plug this in now. All right, lights came on, so that should be a good sign. All right, cool. Let's get my VIA open and we'll start testing switches. So let's kind of see what we can do for this particular board. So, all right, let's start. We're just gonna start testing switches. These Pine Whites were in really good condition, so we shouldn't have any issues. num lock light turns on, so that's really good. I like having that light. That's part of the... Okay, numpad is good. All right, navigation cluster is all messed up, so we're gonna have to reorient the pins. Give me a minute. Let me reset this damn thing. Yeah, we're gonna have to reorient the pins of these switches. There are different orientations, so we'll fix this home cluster and arrow cluster in a little bit. Let's do the rest of the board and figure out how that's working. Okay, F column's working. Escape key, let's do our... Okay, double F rows are working. Spacebar is good. Control. Okay, that button's not registering. Let me just get the picture of this one because I want to... Here we go. Okay, that one just probably won't register. Yeah, that's not good. Okay, that right alt's being weird. We're gonna fix some switches on the bottom row right here. This right alt we're gonna kind of see. So the beauty of Alps, part of why I love them, you can work on them while they're soldered in, but you can't do that with Cherry Max. And we're just gonna compress the switch plate. I'm gonna unplug it just so we're not busting anything. And then we're gonna try that. So I know this home cluster has to get resoldered because we put the pins in the wrong orientation because this PCB supports a wide variety of layouts. Alright, let's try that again. So that's part of our troubleshooting, making sure everything works properly. Okay, right alt works. This right alt isn't registering either, so let's unplug it and let's get this one working. Just kind of compressing everything usually does the trick. All right. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay, this one's not registering, so let's just do this one really quick. Don't know if that one's going to register properly, but we'll see. Because it's a weird key. Not that common. All right. Okay, let's try that again. Well, drop the spring. Give me a second. Give me a second, everybody. Oh, man. Alright, I'm too lazy for this. Grabbing a spring from the spring bucket. There we go. So we have extra parts, everybody. Look at that. All right. Okay, that's just going to be a weird switch that won't work properly. Okay, this alt we're going to swap out because that's not registering correctly. This one's good. Just double checking everything. Cool. Yeah, just checking everything. All right, cool. And then, yeah, that's not being consistent. But every other switch works. That alt and then this cluster has to get rearranged. So let's push that over. All right. So we got to get the desoldering gun out. So let's move cables around. Cool. All right, let's unplug the vent. Let's get the desolder gun going. And then we're also going to let's move my Alright, hello friends. Cool. Let's plug the desolder gun in. This Hacko FR301 is amazing. I wouldn't have it any other way using a tool. It's freaking expensive, but it makes life 1,000 times easier with these boards. Let's make sure everything's all cleaned up in here and we'll be good. Yeah, we're good. Got a filter. We have no clogs. Awesome. Let this puppy heat up. So the control that was being weird, alt right here. So let's do that alt first. Let's get that alt out of here. Oh, that one too. Okay. Give me a second, I want to see. Something's not being exactly right. Okay. There's some kind of clog. This kind of tool, when you work with it enough, you kind of realize when it's not working just right. There we go. Cool. Should be good now. Sweet. There we go. Okay, all right, let's pull these out. Let's do these ones first. Let's grab a couple switches. Let's get those fixed really quick. All right, let's get the solder wick going. Okay, soldering iron's warmed up. Cool. All right, we're going to try those really quick. Just see if those work before we move on to the main cluster that needs to get worked on. So let's get my cables back and plugged in. Okay, that works. We're good. All right, let's disconnect that. And then now let's fix our home cluster. Now that those keys are working properly and registering, gotta do our home cluster. So we're gonna kind of do these one by one. Let's flip the orientation of this switch. Let's go down this way. All right. Cool. That was good. All right, let's desolder all these. All right, we got those. Let's reorient these. And then that should do it. All right, now let's get these soldered in. And that should be the correct orientation for these. Let me just clean up these pins really quick. Cool. And awesome. All right. I think we're done with the solder gun for the moment. I don't want to jinx it, but just want to plug in our vent and we'll get these 9 switches taken care of. All right. Yeah, we're making really good time on this one. Perfect. All right. Let's take a look at this. Let's put my solder wick away. Let's see how we're going to do this one. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's flip this puppy over. All right. Let's see if that fixed my home cluster. Let's grab my cable cluster right here. All right. All right, let's try this again. Where'd V go? You gotta be shitting me. All right, so everything but this up arrow works. So let's double check what's up with my up arrow. Okay, let's see. Let's get the desolder gun plugged in again. Let's move this puppy away. I just need that up arrow working. So maybe that needs to be in a different orientation. So let's see. Oh. Before we do that, let's open the switch and let's compress the switch plate, and then we'll kind of go from there. So this whole home cluster works. So let's see what the heck's up with this one. It looks fine. Okay, let's get that plug over here. Okay, we're good. Everything works. We're good to start putting this puppy in the board. So that's really good. I'm going to put this connector up here. So we are done soldering. All right, let's turn this off. Let's put the solder gun away. Okay, so those are just our two switches that were kind of weird, but yeah, there we go, folks. We have this puppy is ready to go. So that's really cool. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put on our stabilized keycaps. Oh, for crying out loud, same situation as last night. I didn't let these dry. These are cool. Didn't let these dry. Okay. All right, let me just take care of these. All right, let me just dry off a little bit, some stuff on these, and then we'll be good. So yeah, we're done testing for right now. But yeah, everything works on this board, which is really nice. So that's really good because these OmniKeys are just amazing. So another thing with these Northgate OmniKeys, they use focus keycaps, which are double shot ABS, which are really nice. So really, really good. Just checking a couple things. Cool. All right, folks, we're just gonna start getting our stabilized keycaps together. So let's get our stabilizer parts. Where the heck are you? Where? Oh, I put them up there. It's all my screws and hardware, so let's take care of that and get it going. So yeah, let's get these puppies going, then we'll start doing lube and all that fun stuff. that solder stuff away. We'll put the vent over to the side. Done with those, which is really nice. And then we'll get our 205G0 out. So we'll get our stabilizer lubricant out. Nope, that's the, I'll finish off this one first. Cool. Awesome. So really, really good times, everybody. So yeah, good times. Cool. All right, let's get our wires put over here. Cool. Let's start putting our clips on the bottom of these. So these are the big clips that go on our spacebar. Cool. So that's gonna look good. We've got our shift. Ah, crap. I've got to do a little bit of compression on these. So, yeah. Oh, let's move them. There you go. Hi, microphone. Cool, those are in. Let's get our big ass enter. So yeah, we're just getting a little post to kind of hold everything. Awesome. And we got our 0. Sweet. And then our numpad enter. Cool. All right. Start off with our shift over here. Let's get our wire. Let's get it all going, everybody. So yeah, we're gonna have a good fun time, everybody. Look at that. All right, let's get our 205G0. Let's start lubricating this stuff, and then we'll, once we got our lube stabilizers on here, we'll be good to put this, do final assembly of the case and do some of the, there's a couple pieces of restoration we got to do on the case too, which I'll show y'all. Cool. Cool. Got that one. Let's lube this wire right here. Cool. Put the wire in. Cool. There's that. Let's do this. Cool. All right, let's get this one in. Cool. Cool. Got that one in. Perfect. Let's move over to our numpad. Do our 2 numpad keys. Let's get these. Cool. Looking good. So let's do our insert. 0 key right here. Perfect. Good times. Cool. Cool. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, it's just stupid early, dude. We started this stream at like 6:45. Like, shoot me now. So I have a lot of stuff going on this weekend, and I just wanted to get this last OmniKey build done. So yeah, what's up, Niku? Yeah, dude. Thanks for jumping on. So yeah, it's bright and early here in Los Angeles. So yeah, welcome. So I should be sleeping right now, but I'm doing a keyboard build, so here I am. So yeah, this is an OmniKey Ultra-T. So this is my third OmniKey that I have in the collection. And OmniKeys, I think, are my favorite vintage board family. They're unreal. Cool. That one. So we're just putting on our stabilized keycaps. Yeah, you're lucky. Yeah, you're in the future, man. So, yeah, it's a good time. Just checking some stuff. But yeah, we're putting on our stabilized keycaps, then we'll do final assembly, and there's some stuff we got to do to the case in terms of a little bit of restoration for cosmetics that I'll kind of walk you through. I did do it on the blue Alps OmniKey last night. So okay, cool. Got that one on. So, yeah, it's a fun time. But yeah, this is a really good. I'm like 1:33 a.m. Yeah, I'm like, I just want to get this one done. I have 3 more vintage restorations I got to do this week. So 2 are for my personal collection. Been on a vintage board kick, but they're so cheap here in the United States, so why not? So, and then I got a client commissioned restoration that we're doing. So we'll get that client build done, and then should have a lot of really exciting Alps projects coming up in the future. My plate supplier, Tom, over at Hype Keyboards in Canada, has been waiting on more material to come in to make plates, and the material finally came in. He's going to be shipping me a massive order of plates this week. So we're going to be doing a bunch of cool builds going forward. So once those plates come in, we're going to have a bunch of cool Alps projects to do, both personal. So we have some we have a few client commissions that's part of that order. The client, thank you to the clients. They've been very, very patient. Part of that plate order is a couple of plates for 2 Key Colt number 265 Alps builds. That client actually is based in Europe, and they've been really, really patient. So they ordered those plates, those builds from me like over a month ago. So I just told them they've been really awesome and really gracious, and I'm really excited that they're going to get those. They're finally going to be able to get their builds really soon, which is going to be really cool. So. Yeah, definitely been picking up some work, some keyboard commission stuff for people in other parts of the world, which has been really cool. So there's a guy in Japan actually who has some vintage Apple boards that he's going to be sending to me. I just told him, like, if he said, like, well, what would you like build these for me? I told him, dude, if you pay for shipping to and from the United States, I will restore your boards. Like, the shipping is going to be expensive as it is, and I'll just see that as like the fee. They're fun. So it's really kind of cool. So I have a lot of really cool client stuff coming up on the Alps side, which is really awesome. So yeah, I'm just getting some of this extra lube. So Yeah, so it's cool. But yeah, it's been really nice kind of picking up clients for builds in other parts of the world. So it's nice knowing there's other crazy people who are enthusiastic about the stuff like me that aren't in the United States. So, because like here in the United States, I mean, we're very spoiled here in the United States in terms of like at least access to vintage computing stuff. Like, I mean, most of it was either designed or manufactured here back in the day, and so it's pretty easy to get a hold of like pretty much anything I could imagine in terms of vintage tech. But I talk with people like, especially like people who are like in Australia or like India or other parts of the world. It's really hard to get stuff. That's just not as common in those countries, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, it's kind of nice getting that international perspective from other people on like Discord and Reddit and things like that to kind of hear like what do you have access to in terms of like what vintage computing or vintage keyboard stuff or just keyboard stuff in general do you have access to, or that's like easily available on like your local marketplace or like your local eBay or what have you. So because I know you can order stuff from like on eBay, but you usually pay through the wazoo on like shipping and whatnot. So especially like my friends in like Australia or like New Zealand, I know they always get shafted for shipping. So I just shipped a package down to New Zealand for a guy. It was a bunch of Alps stuff. I restored a board. I sent him a Zenith, some other switches and stabilizer and keycap stuff. And it was like $160 to ship it to New Zealand. I'm like, God, you people get shafted. But that's you literally live on an island in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, so condolences to my friends in New Zealand. Let's yeah, I see why you guys get shafted in shipping all the time. Cool. Let's get to this backspace and then we'll do our big ass enter, and then our space bar is always the last one we do. And then we'll do case assembly, and then we'll do some cosmetic stuff on the case. There's a couple cosmetic things we got to do just to make the board right. Cool. Let's get this backspace in here. All right, backspace is good. All right, cool. There's that one. Let's do our big ass enter. And then we should be good to go on this board. So we've tested everything. Everything works on this board. I had actually desolder the home cluster because I put the pins in the wrong orientation, because there's two ways you can do it. Because what's cool about this PCB, it supports an 8K cluster. So I guess OmniKey just kind of streamlined things. They had their PCB support different models in their family of keyboards, which is cool. Because Northgate OmniKey made a ton of different models. So I have three. I have a fourth one coming this week, which I'll definitely showcase that one. That one probably won't get restored for a few weeks, because I'll have to tear it down and do all the restoration stuff to all the different components, like the refinishing the plate, getting the PCB cleaned up, restoring the switches, and tearing out the switches, figuring out what switches I want to put in it. So that one's going to take a few weeks, but I'll definitely showcase it. It's another really cool, like, has an 8K cluster, which is really cool. So it's an OmniKey 102 with an 8K, with the 8K cluster. So that's going to be super sick. I love me some good 8K clusters. So yeah, 8K clusters are definitely a vibe. We got that. Let's get our lube on our clip. Perfect. Let's get our lube in here. Oops, it's a little. All right, cool. Let's get this going. This one's always kind of a pain in the ass. Cool. Big ass enters in there. Backspace, shift, numpad. Looking really good. Just wiping off some excess on the plate. Cool. Now we just gotta do our space bar, and then we can actually like start mounting this puppy. So, So good times, everybody. Good times. Cool. All right. Let's get our space bar going. So we'll do our plate mounted parts first, and then we'll go to the space bar and do that stuff. All right, so those components are done. Let's do the spacebar posts, and then our clips under here, and then we'll be pretty good. There's that. Let's get this portion lubed. Cool. All right. Oh, I didn't do the posts here. Give me a minute. Almost there, friends. Cool. All right, let's get these wires in. Cool. All right, we are done with stabs. So that's pretty good. Just wipe off some of the excess down here, and then we'll be good. A second. Cool. All right. All right, everybody. So I think we're good. So there's our assembly. So that looks really, really good. So, all right, we're gonna put this over to the side, folks, because we're gonna start working on the bottom case, and there's some restoration stuff we got to do to it. So let's get our bottom case going. Cool. So here's our bottom case, everybody. You kind of see some goodies right there. So let me get some of the other components we got to get out for this case, and we'll kind of go from there. Figure out how we're going to put this puppy together. All right, so got our bottom feet, and then we also got, where did I put the cable? So I want to get this cable oriented correctly. Yeah. So, here's our feet. Let's get our various screw packs out, and we're going to start reassembling the bottom case assembly first. Actually, before we do that, let's flip this around and I'll show you what I want to do on the back. So, there's some stuff here that I want to fix. I want to see if I can do it. So I'll show you this back badge right here. There's some peeling right here. So I want to do my best to remove it, and I'm going to reback it with some double-sided tape, because these back labels are really, really nice, and it's really cool because it gives us a good a good description of what the board is. So I'm going to do my best to try and remove this, and then we're going to re-adhesive back it. So let me get this little guitar pick thing, and we're going to try our best to take it off. So that's what we're going to do. So it's just a little bit of it's a little cosmetic thing for me. It is not necessary, but I really want to do my best to try and get this off without damaging it. And then we're going to reback it. So okay, cool. So we got the label off, so that's good. And you really didn't damage it, so that's good. So we're gonna reback it. Now you can see you can see where it was originally. So we're gonna try and put that back to where it goes. So yeah, so we're gonna restore this backing. I'll show you what I did on the OmniKey 102. So this one was really badly peeling, so I just rebacked it, and now this thing's going to be on here for another 40 years. Because I like these I like having these original labels, because there's so many. I want to collect a lot of OmniKeys, and those back labels are really nice, and it helps me to differentiate which OmniKey is which. Like my OmniKey Ultras labels, I didn't have to do any restoration on them. Those labels are there pretty clearly, so that's really nice. All right. Cool. So let's get our double-sided adhesive. You're going to see me do a little bit of restoration on this. So, all right. This is the part that we really need to fix. It's mainly that corner is why we're doing this. So we're going to get that corner going and see if we can get that corner nice and rebacked. So we're going to put these double-sided adhesive strips on it, and then we're just going to go from there. So as you can see, now we have it flattened out. And again, this is largely for aesthetics. This does not affect the functionality of the board, but this is just a little detail touch that's going to make the actual board pop. So there we go. That was the main problem area, was that corner. So now we have that flattened out. Now we're just going to reback the entire thing. So that's going to be really nice. So we're just going to get strips, and we're just going to go across the back label and reback this. And then this will make sure that the label is adhered for many years to come. So this is just a little piece of restoration I wanted to do, just to make life a little bit easier. So rebacking this is just going to make it last for a long time. So this is just a piece of restoration that I thought of doing for it, because this board's 30 years old, and I want it to work and look beautiful for another 30 years. So yeah, so we're just going to make this plate look awesome. Yeah, so this is going to be really nice. Cool. Cool. And then we'll trim around the edges, this excess. Yeah, it's coming along. So, is this overkill for adhesive? This adhesive, this little badge on the back is never going to come off. So, but that's kind of the intention. I don't ever want it to come off again. That little edge right there we're going to have to put on too. Cool. There you go. So we have a rebacked label, as you can see. So there we go. So now the fun part is going to be cutting off the excess. So that's what we're going to do right here. Got that part off. Look at that. So, yeah, just doing a little bit of restoration on this. So, not the most exciting part of keyboard restoration, but it's an important one. Because this is just that little detail that's going to make this board nice again. Let me pull these off. They're all messing with the blade. Cool. Got those. So yeah. Making good time, everybody. So I got those. Cool. Got that off. Now let's cut this little corner off. And there we go, folks. That is a nice rebacked label. Again, there are still some imperfections on it, like this corner right here. Still, you can see the wrinkles in it, but like this is going to adhere perfectly to the board. So that's something that's really nice. So let me just toss all this excess now. We're done with that. And this is an entirely cosmetic little thing that we're doing, but I just think it's a nice little touch for the board. because that design back label really makes the board pop. So now the fun part, peeling off all this adhesive. I mean, these protective backing stickers, so I got to peel off all these. This is part's normally an absolute delight to do. Okay, I got that one. Take it nice and easy. Quite a few of these we got to pull off. Alright, crud. Alright, you got this label. Let's get where'd the case go? Let's try and place this approximately where it was. And there you go, we got our maker's plate. There you go, folks. That is a adhered maker's plate that will now be on here till the end of time, hopefully. So there you go. So that was a piece of cosmetic thing we wanted to do, and then we're gonna do another cosmetic thing as well. There's a couple marks here. I want to go get a magic eraser really quick, and we're gonna wipe off a couple things. Give me a second, folks. I have a magic eraser. There's a couple scuffs here I want to try and get off while we're at it. So we're just going to give this a good little wipe down. And there we go. I'll give it. Cool. Give that a good wipe down, and then yeah, we'll be ready to start doing our final assembly. Alright, let's put last little piece of cosmetic we're gonna do is we're gonna put some adhesive feet on this thing. So this will do, the original feet did not come with this board. They were lost to time. So we're gonna add some rubber feet to this. This is just part of my little cosmetic stuff that I do. And then that will be pretty much done with the cosmetic stuff I needed to do on the bottom case. Cool. There we go. Awesome. Done with that. And that is our bottom case, everybody. So. All right, now we are ready to start putting in our proper feet. So we'll put in our these are our plastic case feet. These 2 feet are adjustable, which is really nice. So, and also we got to do this. Ouch, these are rusted, but it's fine. Cool. Yeah. Good times, everybody. Cool. All right, let's get my screwdriver, and we'll insert these. We'll screw these portions down. And then I also want to figure out our port here. So how I'm going to orient this is going to be like this. So let's do our exterior cable port first. Sorry, it's not fully in frame, folks. Cool. Got that in. Now we're going to put our ground cable in here. So that's grounded now, and then this. And then that should be our bottom case assembly. Just pretty good. Awesome. Now let's get these other screws because we have to get our bottom mount screws, and these are our bottom case screws. So let's find, okay, so these are going to be our bottom mount screws. These other ones will be the case screws. So, awesome. So we have that. Let's get our plate and PCB. And let's orient this all correctly. Okay. I'm going to grab another piece of double-sided adhesive because I want to, there's this weight here that I want to have just held down, so I don't want that rocking around in the case. So I'm just going to grab a couple little piece of adhesive tape, and we're going to adhere that down. That's just going to hold this down. They used hot glue originally. I'm not getting a hot glue gun out. I'm too lazy. Come on. I was getting this adhesive backing off as a pain in the butt. Yeah, give me a second. You get to watch me struggle taking off a piece of tape, everybody. So, fun times. Yeah, watching a guy struggle with double-sided tape on the internet. Fun times. Got it. That should not have been as difficult as that. Cool. All right. Got that chunk right there holding it down. Let's get our PCB cable put in here so we can interface. And then let's put our bottom mount in. Cool. Let's do our bottom mount. Let's get a bigger screw for this. I'm gonna have a bigger Phillips head for this. And then we'll do a little bit, another test. Yeah, so these Northgate OmniKeys, most of them are bottom mounted. The 102 gold badge I did last night, it's actually top mounted, which is really cool. But most of these are bottom mounted. All right, let's get the cable plugged in. And let's do another test. And then we oh, we're done with the soldering iron. Why the hell is this on? Okay. Give me a second. Let me get this cable over here. There we go. There we go. Cable lights came on, so that's good. Let's go to VIA really quick. But yeah, that's a chunker. I love it. So let me get VIA opened. All right, so let's go to our switch tester. We got our VIA switch tester. Unlock lights turning on. Awesome. Cool. Print screen works, perfect. Spacebar is good. That's good, that's good. Double F row works. Cool. Awesome. So we are good to go. All that cable stuff is good. Let's get my top case and screw that in. So now we can see the personality of the board, and we have one more, another cosmetic thing that we're gonna do. Right there, we're gonna fix that as well. So let's get the top case screwed in, and then we'll kind of go from there. Cool. It's coming in. Cool. All right, here we go, folks. So, got this beauty of a keyboard right here. Look at that. All right, so last piece of aesthetics we got to do. Oops. Is right here up on the corner. So most Northgate OmniKeys have this little badge. What's cool about here, you have kind of these selector switches you can do for this particular keyboard. There's DIN switches to kind of go through different protocols and settings and things like that. So normally there'd be two little posts here and you'd lift this little thing up and it would go. I have this, I don't plan on using any of these other protocols or DIN switches. If I need them, I can do them. But this thing really doesn't stick in here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stick some double-sided adhesive and we're gonna just permanently adhere it there so it looks kind of nice and true again. So we'll take a grab my file really quick because there's something I do want to file off here really quick. Perfect. All right, let's get our double-sided adhesive and figure out where the heck we're going to stick it. Cool, we're just going to do two little squares and then we should be good. And then we'll put keycaps on. So, put a little adhesive square right there. And then right over here. And that should do a good job of holding this puppy in place. Now the fun part, pulling off that double-sided adhesive tape backing. So, but yeah, this is a really cool board. I love this thing. They also have like a reset switch too here. This is really nice. Very tactile. So, all right. I don't want to do that. Cool, got that one. So this one. Nope, don't want to do that. Okay, let's try this side. Nope. Not fun. Nope. One more corner I can try. Damn it. Try it over here. All right, cool. Got those. Now let's put this little badge here, and then pretty much all of our cosmetic stuff that I had to do on this board will be done. So let's get this all good. That badge looks just great. OmniKey Ultra. So this is an OmniKey Ultra-T. And then now that's not moving. So there we go. That's our badge. There we go. All right, folks. I'm gonna start putting some tools away really quick, and then we'll get ready for keycaps. So let me just put a bunch of these tools away because we're pretty much done with all the tools. And then yeah. Yeah, this came out really good so far. Cool. All right. So yeah, this came out great. So really like how this one came out. So yeah, let's start getting slick keycaps. There we go. All right. Yeah, this one came out absolutely gorgeous. So we're doing a control. Yeah, alt. Yeah, I'm going to put our big keycaps on first. So yeah, it's coming along, but yeah. Sounds and feels really nice. Let's just find our tab really quick and then we'll... Gonna start doing our F column. Here's our escape button. Yeah, I love the double F row on these. So pause is going to go up here. Got our up arrows, got our F8. Yeah, I'm trying to just do my gray keycaps and then we'll do the beige. So yeah, this looks really good. And then we'll kind of bring out the other OmniKeys and kind of do a comparison. So, yeah. Delete. All right, 7. Where's our equals go? Right here. Yeah, this looks really good. There's our navigation cluster. F12 goes up here. Numlock. F11. Star goes right here. There's our other arrow. Drop to keycap. There we go. Minus is going to go right here. Our F side F cluster. Six. Number 3. Yeah, we're just starting to fill it in now. So yeah, it's coming along. So yeah, this is a really sick board. I'm really excited for this board. Oh, that key doesn't go there. That key over here. This one goes right there. That goes right there. And then that goes right there. And then there's my tab. It's coming along. Yeah, I can't wait to get this, see the finished product in this one. This board's been a lot of work, but it's really nice. So yeah, it's coming along. See if I can rub this off. Sorry, there's a mark on the A I wanted to go off. I think we did it. Sweet. Almost there. Press F to pay respects. And then this one. All right. Let's put all these away. And then there we go, friends. Look at that. That is amazing. So let me get the Ultra, which is its kind of big brother. Move the IBM one out of the way. So here's the Ultra. So you can kind of see both of these OmniKeys. So this is the OmniKey Ultra. This is the OmniKey Ultra-T because it has the T cluster. So really the only difference between these is on this one, it has a dedicated escape key up here, whereas on this board, the escape key has been moved down where the tilde normally goes, like 60%, which is pretty cool. So on this board, the Ultra, the tilde has been moved down here, which is kind of cool. And also we have the 8K cluster here, whereas we have a standard navigation and arrow cluster right there. So that's really cool. So they both have white Alps. So yeah, they sound really good. So want to do one final test on this board. I can't change that. So let's do this. All right, let's plug this board in. And let's go into VIA and do a test. Let's retest everything and we should be good. Now the lock turns on, perfect. Awesome, that looks really good. And then let's do this one. Control, Alt, Star works, spacebar is good. That's good, that's good. Shift works. Caps lock light comes on, scroll up. Okay. Looking good. Okay, I think we're good on this particular board. Yeah, there we go. So there we go, friends. Let me just, yeah, everything works. My lights work. Caps lock, scroll lock. So all those lights indicators work. So yeah, this looks real. This came out really good. So yeah, let me just unplug this. And yeah, this came out really nice. Really happy with how this board came out. It's gorgeous. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's absolutely amazing. So, yeah, so we can see this one. So we have, it's kind of crazy. So we have these two. And then to round out the OmniKeys, we have this one. So This one is the oldest. This is the rarest one. This is a gold label OmniKey 102, which has blue Alps, and both of these have pine white Alps. So these are really, really cool boards. Let me move my mouse and we can just kind of see all of them in frame. So yeah, folks, these are the 3 OmniKeys, and we have one more OmniKey on the way, which is really cool. So I'm really excited to get, OmniKeys are cool. I mean, if you're looking for a vintage Alps chassis, definitely try to find a Northgate OmniKey. These things are amazing. Now, these have some of the weird layouts, but they do make a standard like AT101. It's called Northgate OmniKey 101. So if you want something that's more traditional, has like a traditional ANSI enter on a big ass enter, look for an OmniKey 101. I'm trying to track one of those down. And I potentially may be doing one for a client very soon. So, but yeah, these are fantastic boards. This is my Ultra. This is the one we just did. So we have the Ultra-T, the Ultra, and then the OmniKey 102 gold badge. So yeah, these are fantastic, folks. All right, so let me move these boards out of the way. And so yeah, everybody, thank you so much. I think we're gonna call that a wrap. But yeah, we're on here for about 2.5 hours, and we got this beautiful, beautiful Northgate OmniKey Ultra-T assembled. So anyone who kind of tuned in this early hour, if you were here in the United States, again, this is really cool. We did a lot of really, really good work to this board. And now it's as good as it was back in 1994. So really awesome keyboard. So thank you so much, folks. The VOD is going to be up on YouTube later today, folks. So have a great day, everybody.